if you've been a gamer for a long time, chances are pretty good that you've had some speculation and some predictions about what's going to happen within the industry of video games. And a lot of people, especially those online or on social media, etc., YouTube, what have you, they make some guesses, they make some calls, they make some claims. And, well, whenever they happen to be right, they love to say so and say, well, I called it. See, I knew what I was talking about. I'm really smart because I know all about these video games and stuff. But the thing is, a lot of times we're wrong. And you don't really hear as many people come up and say, yeah, I was totally wrong about that, despite the fact that that happens more often than they're right. And today, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about for me, because I've definitely been part of it too. I've made a lot of predictions and thought, oh, this is totally going to happen. This is what's going down. And I was way off. Here's 3 examples that I can think of. So most recently, I would go with something related to the Nintendo Switch. I was one of those people who was hanging out and saying, hey, like, look, just wait on getting one of these because the Switch 2 is right around the corner. And once the Switch 2 comes out, everybody's going to be selling their Switch to try and upgrade to the Switch 2. So you're going to be able to find used ones for a lot cheaper. And even if you want a brand new one, well, hey, I mean, like, obviously you get a new system out, it would make sense that the previous one would go down in price. But some strange economic times have happened, and in a way that I couldn't possibly have predicted, because, let's face it, I couldn't even predict very well without that. It's just a usual trend that I was going with. Because I couldn't predict that, I said to wait. I was way wrong, because not only did it not go down in price, the Switch and the Switch Lite and the OLED Switch, all of the regular Switch systems, okay, the Switch 1 family of systems went up in price, which is unfortunate, because I guess it would have been better to just get it when it was older. Or I guess at that point it was younger. You know what I mean. At the time, oops, I was way wrong on that for sure. But again, that's probably a pretty easy, common one that people would have got wrong, because that's just a general trend that usually happens when other stuff isn't also happening in the world. That's going to make that weird. Though I will say, surprisingly, I saw a renewed Switch on Amazon for like $200. So if you look in the right place, you might get a good quality, like, used one. Good condition used, maybe a certified refurbisher can, like, you know, renew it or refurbish it or whatever, and you can get maybe a decent discount on some of these things. But it's certainly not the big price drop that I was thinking of. Maybe in the future, when things calm down and more people have upgraded to the Switch 2 and gotten rid of their Switch, you'll have an even better time with that and still have plenty of things to play on it. But for now, I'm taking the L on this one. I was wrong. The next one is with Super Smash Bros. You know, they were coming out with a new Smash Bros. Game for the 3DS, and I really thought for sure that, you know, oh man, they're just gonna do, like, you know, it's too small, right? There's no way they can take a game as big and complex as Super Smash Bros. Brawl and cram it down onto a 3DS cartridge. It just can't happen. So I was thinking they were going to take a page out of the book of, like, you know, Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask 3D, Star Fox 64 3D. They're going to take the 64 N64 Smash Bros., the first game, and they're going to probably, you know, they're going to give it a new coat of paint. They're going to maybe, you know, probably change the fighting system to be more modern like the current games, and then they would just, you know, just have fewer characters, stages, items, and stuff, and that's how they would save space, and that would be their compromise. And then they came out with this bad boy. Hello? Uh-oh. Did I break it? There we go. Then they came out with this bad boy. Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, which managed to blow me the hell away. Man, did they prove me wrong. They just straight up took these ideas. We're going to make a game that is, you know, better balanced and everything, better mechanics and stuff than Brawl. We're going to shove tons of modes, tons of character, tons of items and stages, everything. We're going to throw the works into it, and we are going to make it cram onto this 3DS cartridge. The only sacrifice they really made on this, I feel like, is the visuals, because, well, I mean, you can only do so much with a, what is this, 240p or something? It's not like a super high resolution screen on the 3DS anyways, so you're playing with that, and that limitation, but it still looks good. It's just not like high def or anything like that, of course. Not that you would expect it to be. And this was probably like the best way to be proven wrong, because man, there's no way they could do this, and they're like, oh yeah, hold my beer, and they did it, and that's awesome. I should not have underestimated, but now I know. Now I know. And finally, we have a thing where for a while there, retro gaming and especially collecting got really, really big. And as it was growing rapidly, it was pretty clear that the front runner for this was the NES. There were just tons of games on that thing, a huge variety, lots of different and weird games to find, and it was just a really fun thing to collect for. But, as time went on, a lot of those most popular titles for it got harder to find, got more expensive to get. Some of the rare stuff also got expensive, all that stuff with that. And another issue is that they just started to kind of wear out. You had all these different, issues of wear and tear and age, taking the cartridges and the consoles away from us and limiting those numbers. And there's not a whole lot you can do about that for a physical, genuine collector. So my thought was Nintendo's going to put out another run of NES consoles, or at the very least, because I was thinking it would be that plus games, but at the very least just the games. And because they already own stuff like Super Mario Bros. And Zelda, and they got Kid Icarus and Metroid and whatever. They got a bunch of their NES games, their legacy titles that they could throw out there because they own them, and then if anyone else wants in, they could also get their cartridges made or whatever. I figured there would be a small resurgence of that and actually making new ones of these so they can keep existing for years to come. I was very wrong, because Nintendo's answer to this issue was the NES Classic Edition, which honestly is way smarter. And I know that probably sounds crazy that Nintendo would be smarter than me. All of Nintendo smarter than me. But they were. Because this is just a premium plug-and-play system. I love plug-and-play systems. Most of them were pretty cheap, and they decided to put these out a little while after plug-and-plays were kind of dead and buried, and they're like, alright, we're going to make a premium one. It's going to be a nice little mini replica, smaller footprint, but it looks the same. You get the nice controller to go with it. It feels authentic. 30 games on it. Good selection of stuff for everybody. Obviously, you can't get something to please everyone. We're my favorite game isn't on there because there's a zillion fucking NES games, so yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but that's still pretty damn good. You're getting a lot of good stuff that you would want on there, right? This, and then they'd only have to do so many of these. I mean, these sold out like crazy. They had to, people scalping them. They had to make more of them and everything, and it was a big deal. It was a big hit, and it was probably a much smarter, both financially and just functionally, idea than just making more NES games and cartridges, which probably would be costly and be a whole hassle, and how many people are really going to go through that much trouble to keep getting all that stuff? I don't know. That would have been probably a bigger gamble. This was probably smarter. But that's everything. Those are my 3 big things, and if I think of any other stuff, maybe I can share some more if you like this kind of video, but let me know if you thought this was interesting. I just thought it was a neat kind of idea. And also, for sure, if you guys have anything that, you had predictions that you were pretty sure on and you were way wrong about, leave those in the comments. I think that would be pretty fun to kind of just chat about back and forth, because hopefully I'm not the only one who can admit to their, horrible mistakes of speculation here. But I thought that would just be kind of a fun thing to talk about. And hopefully I don't get anything dramatically wrong again, unless it's, for the good. Thankfully, most of these, 2 out of 3 of these, I guess, were probably positive things that I got wrong, because if I was right, that would have sucked. But other than that, I think that's all I got. Thanks for watching. I will exit stage that way.